Welcome to My Crafty Life. Today we're going to be making an acrylic keychain that I'm going to put on my planner bag. Let's start off by showing the materials that we'll be using. We're going to be using the pink and white rhinestones. The pink rhinestones are going to be in 3 different sizes. It's going to be sizes 3, 4, and 5 millimeters in the pink. And then also just the white rhinestones in the package that you see above there. I've already pre-cut my transfer tape that you'll see in just a moment, but right here you'll see the 3-inch size of the acrylic keychain. That's my transfer tape that I've already cut, and I've already pre-cut my letter A that I'm going to be using for the keychain. Here's my scraper tool, my Gem Tac glue that I'm going to be using to adhere the rhinestones, some rubbing alcohol, my weeding tool, a nail file. This is what I'm going to be using to pick up my gem. It's a wax pencil. This is what I'm putting my glue in so I can get a precision line for the... So I'm going to start out here by weeding the letter A for my keychain. I'm just going to take out the parts of the letter A that I don't want to keep. And then once I'm done with that, I'm just going to cut out the excess just to make it a little bit easier to apply it to my keychain. This is probably going to be the easiest part of the process. So while I'm doing that, I just want to go ahead and thank everyone for just stopping by and watching this video with me today. This is my second time doing this process. It's something that I enjoyed the first time that I did it, and I figured I would bring you along for this time around. This is going to be my first of many times making rhinestone projects, and I figured I would just document my journey in just learning this process and starting to make these types of projects. So here I'm just kind of cutting off the excess pieces that I don't need just to make it a little bit easier to apply it to the piece of acrylic that I'm going to be working with. You'll see me here in just a moment. I'm going to use my nail file to just kind of buff out the letter A, just to kind of take off like just to make it easier for the glue to apply. The glue will apply to it, but I just kind of buff out that a little bit, just to give it a rough surface for it to stick to. And you don't necessarily have to do that a lot, just to kind of gently buff it out, just to give it a better surface for everything to stick to. So you'll see me doing that here. And then I'm just kind of gently wiping off just a little bit of, the little bit of surface that was buffed off there. So that's what I'm doing here. And now I'm just taking my piece of transfer tape and just kind of sticking over the top, and then you'll see me just kind of burnish it just to make sure that it's stuck to that letter A, to make it easier to stick to the acrylic keychain. Just kind of lightly going over it here. You'll see me kind of go over the top of it, and then I'll flip it over and go over the back of it as well, just to make sure that it's adhered properly. There we go. Just kind of going over it a little bit more there, just to make sure that it's stuck to that piece of transfer tape. And now we're going to just grab our piece of acrylic, and we're going to go ahead and start taking off the piece of plastic that's over the front. Sometimes it's easier to take it off with the weeding tool. Sometimes you can just pull it off with your finger, just depending on how easy it's on there. of how hard it's on there. There should be a piece on the front and the back. Usually that's how it comes. Didn't want to come off there. Alright, so now that piece is coming off. So next, what we're going to do is take our nail file, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a nail file. You can actually use, like, if you have one of those little blocks, like a sanding block, and you can get those from like a Dollar Tree. They sell like a little sanding block, and you don't have to sand it really hard. You can just kind of lightly buff it just to kind of make that surface a little bit easier for everything to adhere to. Just kind of lightly buff it. You want to buff any surface that you're going to be adhering, especially a shiny surface that you're going to be adhering rhinestones to. So that's what I'm doing there. And then once you get done, you just want to take a little bit of rubbing alcohol on a piece of tissue or a little towel, and just kind of rub off those little, the little pieces that come off. So that's what I'm doing here. It's just rubbing that off with a piece of rubbing alcohol. And then now we're going to go ahead, after that has dried, we're going to go ahead and take the letter A and just kind of make sure we have it as centered as possible and in place. And we're going to go ahead and adhere it to the acrylic blank. Once we get that on there, we just want to get it burnished on there really good. Try to make sure we don't have any bubbles in there. Just burnish that on there. And then once we have it in place, then we're just going to peel off that piece of transfer tape, and then we can get started with the real project. Just kind of making sure it's on there, and we're just going to get that piece of transfer tape pulled off. Here we go. All right, so now we have our letter on there, and that is what we are going to use for our template to put the rhinestones on there. So on top of the white, we're going to put the white rhinestones on top of that. So that's what we're using for our template for our letter A. And I'm just going to start picking out the size rhinestones that we're going to use to just kind of go in line and line that up. So I just have a little tray that I'm using to kind of pick out some sizes that are going to work. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe those are probably going to be sizes 3, 4, and 5 millimeter. But I'm just kind of picking out all 3 of the sizes that I have there, because I will be using all two or three of the sizes that I have there to kind of fill in the spaces, to kind of get it as close as possible. And you won't use a whole lot, but I'm just kind of spreading them out and kind of picking them as I need them. And I have my wax pencil that I'm going to be using to kind of pick those up. And then the glue that I showed you earlier, I actually put the glue inside of that container that I'm using there. And I did that because it actually helps you to get just a straight line. And that just makes it easier so that you don't have just big globs of glue. So that's why I put it in that container there. So you'll notice that it looks like I'm doing it really fast. I'm actually not doing it that fast. It's kind of sped up just because the process of just putting the gemstones on there, it can be a little bit mundane. So I kind of sped up this process because it's just placing gemstones on there. So it looks like I'm moving really fast. It actually takes a good bit of time. Even though this is a smaller project, it does take a good bit of time to go and place the gemstones on there. Of course, with time, I am still pretty new at this process. So, of course, with time, you'll get faster at it. Again, I'm still pretty new at it. So, you'll get better with time, of course. But it takes time. But I did speed this up a little bit just to make this not take such a long time as far as the video. But what I'm doing is just kind of placing different size stones. I think this is called the scatter method from what I've researched, which is basically where you have multiple sizes of rhinestones that you're using, and you are not, you know, just picking up the same size every time. You're picking up different sizes every time, and there's no uniform size that you're using. You're just kind of picking up different ones every time according to what you have. So I'm trying to be as neat as possible when I go through the process, and I'm trying to stay within the line just to make sure that no matter what size that I use, I am making it still stay within that letter A that I have outlined with my vinyl there. So that's what I'm doing there. You'll kind of see me rearranging some of them at times. It does take a little while for these rhinestones to dry with this glue. So you do have some, you know, some time. Like if you do make a mistake, it is very forgiving when you get started with it. It's forgiving so that, you know, if you make a mistake, if you place one in the wrong place, or you notice, you know, I should have put a different size there, you can definitely move it around. One other thing that I really like about this glue is that even though the glue is white, you don't have to worry, because when it dries, it does dry clear. So that's one thing that you will see once I start using the pink rhinestones in the clear space, is that you will see a lot of white. So don't be alarmed. It will look a little weird and it's going to look messy. But when we show the end product, you'll notice that it does dry clear. So don't be alarmed when you see that. It will look a little messy, but it definitely does dry clear. But I'm just kind of figuring out which rhinestones look best in which places. It gets a little tricky when you start going around those curves there, because the spacing kind of gets a little odd. One thing I will say is I was noticing as I was going through, I really did wish that I had a little bit smaller rhinestones, because I did need some in some spaces that were a little bit smaller. But I wanted to continue with the project. I wanted to work with what I had. So there are some spots where there are a little bit of spaces, but again, this is for me. I wasn't making this for anyone, so I was going to continue with it anyway. But I do wish that I had some rhinestones that were a tad smaller than the smallest size that I had, to kind of fill in some spaces. But again, this is for me. It's not for anyone else. So I'm going to continue working on with what I have. And I do know now that I do want to make sure that I order some rhinestones that are a little bit smaller to have as fillers when I have situations when I have some spaces there. So that is something that I learned from this project. But we'll just continue on with what we have. And as you can see, we're almost done filling in our letter A. Also, anyone that is watching this video, if you have done projects like this before, if this is something that you're a pro at, if you have any tips for me as someone who is just getting started with using rhinestones, please feel free to give me any tips. You are more than welcome to do so by providing me with any comments that you have. Again, I'm new at this, so I am open to learning anything about this process. I'm still learning about the different sizes, the different types of rhinestones, what works best, the lingo with, you know, the rhinestones and everything. So I'm still learning, so I'm more than welcoming the comments that you may have about this process. So feel free to give me some tips if you have some. So we're getting close to finishing up our letter A, and getting ready to put the pink ones on. So far we're looking pretty good. We just have a little bit left to fill in here at the end. As you can see, for the thicker part of the letter A, we did have to do 2 rows, but for the rest of it we were able to use just 1 rhinestone to kind of get the rest of it filled in. So that was pretty easy. It was just the thicker part of the letter A that we had to do 2 rows. So the rest of it was pretty easy. So you'll see me just kind of making sure that we kind of line everything up, filling everything out, trying to make sure that we can cover up some white spaces if we can. So I'm just trying to finish up where I can and just try to neaten it up as much as I can, because trying to perfect it as much as I possibly can here. But so far, it's looking good. I'm happy with it so far. We still have a ways to go, but we're getting there. This is something that I purchased a planner bag to put all my planners in, and I figured that this would be something that would just kind of make it stand out. And this was something I was really excited to do. So I wanted to ask everyone who's watching if you have any crafts, any other crafts that you are interested in. I assume that anyone who's watching this video is interested in blinging things using rhinestones, but comment down below if there's any other crafts that you're interested in. I myself personally, this is one thing that I am starting to do, but I do enjoy other crafts as well. I enjoy using my planner, decorating that. I enjoy making signs. I enjoy making gift baskets. I enjoy lots of DIY crafts. So if there is anyone else out there that enjoys any other types of crafts, just let me know what other types of crafts that you're into, just so that, you know, I can know what else you're interested in, because on this channel, I do plan on showing you other types of things that I'm interested in. I do plan on doing other videos on other types of crafts as well, and I would love to find out what other types of things that you guys want to see on this channel. I will be uploading other videos as well soon, and I'm just interested to find out what you're interested in as well. As you can see, I'm trying to get this one rhinestone at the top. I'm trying to figure out which size I have is gonna work with that top section. I have this one big rhinestone, and I'm trying to see if it's gonna work at the very top, and it doesn't look like it's working. So I'm just trying to move it around. This would have been one of those areas where if I had some of the tinier rhinestones, it would have worked perfectly in this very top area of that letter A. And I'm just trying to move them around to make it work, but it will end up working. But I'm just trying to move them around just to try to figure out a spacing that's gonna work, and pushing them around and trying to figure out what's going to be best here. So that's what I'm doing here. Since I've already picked out some more rhinestones and ordered some more sizes, so I can have more on hand and more sizes to work with for other projects, since I've ordered these. So I'm already ready for the next project that I'm going to make. I feel like I'm going to want more of these in additional colors, so I can put them on other things. So I'm starting to outline the outside. I figured I would probably want to start by outlining the outside of the letter A and then kind of work my way out. So that was my thought process here, just kind of start around the edge of it and then just kind of work my way out from there. So that was kind of my thought process here, just to kind of push everything in and line it up, and then just kind of, yeah, push it in there, and then just kind of move from there. And then I tried to do like my little thin line, but as you can see, there's a little bit more glue coming out than what I wanted to. But again, the glue does dry clear. So that is one of the things that I really like about this glue, is that it's very forgiving. It does dry clear, so you won't have to worry about when it does dry seeing any big thick globs of glue. So that's one thing that I do like about this glue. It does dry clear and it's very sturdy. You don't have to worry about any other rhinestones coming out. So again, it does look a little messy when you start putting the rhinestones on and you see like all the glue like gushing out between the rhinestones. But it does end up looking really good in the end. Just trying to kind of fix them up, make it look a little bit better. I'm just kind of going around it. One thing I will say, when you're working on a project like this, make sure you have a very comfortable chair to work in, because you'll be there sitting there for a little while. It's time consuming, but I will say that when you get done and you're looking at your end product after you've let it sit and dry overnight, because I did before handling it, I let it sit overnight before I really, bothered with it. You'll want to let it sit overnight to let the glue really cure. And you may want to let it sit longer than that before you just, handle it. But I pretty much worked with this and I finished with it in the evening time, and then the next day, the next morning it was dry, and then I still kind of let it sit some more hours before I put it on the product that I was going to put it on. But I kind of touched it and it was still fine. But where I'm going to be using it is going to be pretty much stationary, so I was fine with kind of going ahead and hanging it on where it was going to be in its final place. So but yeah, you'll want to let it sit for some hours after you're finished with it, just to make sure that it's fully dry. But it is definitely one of those types of projects that once you're done with it, you can truly say, you can look at it and say, I did that. And just to look at all the sparkles, it's definitely worth it. It's addictive. Once you do one thing, you'll want to do another. So I've already purchased more rhinestones. I'm ready to work on something else, and I'm trying to figure out what the next project is. But I do want to go ahead and do some more of these so I can get a little bit better at it, so that I can work on bigger projects. Just trying to kind of get everything straightened up here. This is where I'm kind of seeing where I'm having a little bit of some spacing that I'm trying to fill in, trying to push the rhinestones closer together, kind of seeing some spaces here. This is again where I'm seeing where I needed some smaller rhinestones to kind of fill in some spaces. But again, I'm just kind of pushing through, making do with what I have. But again, everything is still looking good. I'm still happy with it. You'll also want to make sure, like, especially when you start getting the more rhinestones you're getting on there and getting closer together, you want to make sure that you're kind of tapping down on your rhinestones to make sure that they are flat, because once you start getting so many on there together, it's easy to put them down and realize that they're not flat. So you want to just kind of tap down on them and make sure they have gotten, they're sitting flat, because you don't want to have one that's kind of grouped together but it's not flat, and then later on you realize that it didn't get laid flat down. So then when it dries, it's not flat, and then you have one that never was fully laid down. So you want to make sure that all of them are pushed down fully, because with this type of glue, with it being white, and there's other glues, you don't necessarily have to use the glue that I use. I know there's a lot of different ones out there. This is just the one that I had on hand. You can definitely do your research and figure out which one works for you, but this is just what I had on hand and what I had used at a workshop, and it was recommended, so I used it. But you want to just make sure that everything is laid flat. I do know that there are some out there that are clear, and they dry clear, of course, because they are already clear, but just make sure that your rhinestones are laying flat, just to make sure that you don't have any issues when it does dry. So I do recommend that as you're going through, just kind of double checking and make sure. As you can see, we are about a quarter of the way through with the outside of the letter A. So we are definitely making a lot of progress here. We're kind of getting to the edge. You'll kind of see here around the edge, like you'll see, again, there are some spaces where we really needed some spacers. I made do with what I had. There are some that are kind of pushed off of the edge. I definitely didn't want to leave any big gaps, so I let those stay where they were because I didn't want to have those big gaps there. So I made do with what I had. Again, this is for me, so I was completely fine with it. And again, at the end, you'll see that it does end up turning out really, really good. But yeah, it's fine with me. And then you'll just see, I didn't have any specific method that I was using. Like you'll see, like when I was at the top, I was kind of going up and down with my rhinestones. Now I'm at the bottom, I'm going kind of to the right with it. I'm just kind of making a line, and I'm just kind of lining up my rhinestones. I'm still just kind of using whichever rhinestones are fitting into the area that I'm using. You'll see me using whichever size is working with the space that I have. You might see me using some of the ones that are a little bit bigger, but then you might see me using some of the ones that are a little bit smaller. I'm just kind of picking out whichever ones are working with the amount of space that I have. So just kind of whatever works with what I have. I'm still kind of pushing them in just to make sure that I'm trying to fill out the space that I have. You'll see me kind of moving them around, trying to make sure that the spacing is as best that I have. Pushing them down to make sure they're flat. We almost got half of this side done. A little bit left there to work out. And if I'm correct, from what I've been learning, I think the ones that have like the little film over it is I think they're called AB. I'm still learning the lingo of the rhinestones, but I think it's AB. The ones that have that little bit of a, if I had to explain it, I think it's like where the rhinestones have kind of like it's like a different look. I don't really know the correct verbiage of how to explain it, but I think these are like the AB, the way they have that sparkle or shine over the top of them, the pink ones. But I really like how they look, and how they look when the light hits them. So we're just filling in underneath the letter, and then we'll just have the other side of the letter A that we're going to be filling out. And just kind of getting our glue in there. You'll see the beads of glue are starting to get a little messy. They're looking less like lines. They starting to look more like dots, but that's okay. It's still working. That's why the glue started to look a little messier, because the glue was not, I think the glue was just not coming out of the tip that well at that point. Like it was just skipping. I think I ended up having to refill my glue, so it wasn't coming out that good. So the glue was just not coming out in a line. Eventually I did have to refill my glue. But yeah, we made it work. I made it work the best I could. but we almost there. Like, we halfway there. We're over halfway there, so we getting through it. Like, I literally, through this process, I learned so much from doing this, and I'm already ready to do another one, just so I can correct the things that I learned from this one. So I'm ready to do another one so I can see the progression. And when I do the next one, I probably won't do a video because I want to do another one just to see the improvement. I'll probably show you guys, but I won't do a video on it. I'll just probably show a picture of it just to show the difference, just to see if I improve some on it, because I'm all about progression and getting better at things. There we go. Just kind of lining them up here. That was probably the straightest line I did, and then I got kind of messy there. I think I was getting tired here. You're fixing it up here. All right. We got 3/4 of the way done. Again, don't be alarmed by all the amount of glue that you see, especially in this area, because it is going to dry clear. So when it dries, you're not going to see all of that white there. You're not going to be able to see it. It's going to be completely clear. So when that dries, you won't see any of it. Any of those spaces where you see all of that white, you won't see it. So don't be alarmed by that. That's one thing again that I like about this glue. Is very forgiving. Again, the glue that I use, it's made by the company Beacon, and it's Beacon Gem Tac. It's a permanent glue, and the glue can be used to embellish jeans, phones, purses, shoes, glasses, and more with rhinestones, pearls, glitter, and more. So yeah, that is what I use. And again, this is not sponsored. This is just what I got from a workshop that I attended in a planner meetup. So this is what was used there. So this was the first time that I ever used rhinestones, and I was hooked instantly. So this is what was used in that workshop. And so I had a couple of bottles, so I'm going to use it because it worked really well. On the directions for it, it does say that when you use it, it says allow it to dry for 24 hours. So that is based on the instructions from the maker of that glue. So it says dry for 24 hours. So that is what is recommended from that manufacturer, and you can use this on different materials. So one thing that I do want to try in the future, I would love to put some rhinestones on some shoes. And now it is time to look at the finished product, but first I do want to show you this cute little mini toolbox that I got. So I heard about these on TikTok, and I had to go and get one for myself because my favorite color is pink. And look at it. So of course I used it to store my rhinestones. It has 3 little drawers. You have the bigger one at the bottom. The second one there, I put some more of my materials that I use for the rhinestones. And then at the top, it has another storage where I put the rest of my rhinestones. Is it not the cutest thing? And of course it's pink, so I had to have it. Is it not the cutest? But now to what you came here for. Look how it turned out. Look how it turned out. Is it not cute? Again, I know there's some spacing issues, but it's for me. But I'm happy about it. Like, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's sparkly and it's pink, so I love it. But now I just want to show you where I'm going to be putting this. This is going to be going on my planner bag, so I put my planners in here and I felt like it was missing something. So this is the bag where I keep my planners. I enjoy planning, and this is what it looks like on the bag. So I just use like one of the little screw-on luggage tag rings, and that's how I put it on there. And I think it just brings this bag out so much more. Like, it needed something, and this was it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching this video with me. I appreciate you for watching this video with me. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Please like the video if you like this content. There will be more coming in the future with different types of crafts. Please subscribe to my channel for more, because there will be more videos coming in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, this is Andrea from My Crafty Life. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Good night.